Hey there, welcome to Schmooze with Suze. I'm Suze Montgomery, your host. We've been doing this a very long time, and what we like to do is focus on people in our community that are doing good works, and also people, maybe you want to know a little bit more about them. You probably just see them occasionally, maybe at even the grocery store, but you never feel really comfortable asking them about what they do when they're publicly serving. So today I've got a great old friend. He's not that old, he's younger than I am. But Matt LaVere, who's the mayor of the city of Ventura. Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, happy to be here.
I love to have you on the show. I love your whole family. I love your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister,
Well,
the kids.
I always tell people, you taught, was it 3 of my grandparents through the years?
Yes, I did.
And so I know that you're a saint in the LaVere family and in the Venable family, because you really took. I felt like you considered my grandparents to be family to you. And
They are.
That means a lot.
They were. I still have a hard time believing they're not here.
So me too.
Well,
I tell people I was so fortunate because I was 36 years old and I still had all 4 of my grandparents living with me.
That is so rare.
In Ventura.
That's so rare.
It's unheard of, and I've lost them all in the past couple of years.
Well, that brings up a question. You're a local kid. You're homegrown.
Born and raised.
You're probably the first city council or maybe even mayor that we've had that was born and raised in the city?
Oh, we have Jim Monahan was born and raised here.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tracy. There's been a couple, but yeah, I'm 3rd generation. My mom came here in the early 1950s when she was a little baby girl. And it's a trip because now my daughter just started Loma Vista, and she's a 3rd generation Loma Vista Leopard.
Isn't that cool?
My mom was one of the first classes at Loma Vista. I went to Loma Vista. My daughter's going there. That's what's great about Ventura is the generational aspect of it.
You can look back and you run into people everywhere you go, and everybody's really happy to see you, I'm sure. And I think the city owns you. In the sense that, they know you. And, you got to wear a baseball cap and sunglasses at 2 a.m. as you're exiting wherever you're exiting, because you'll run into somebody and they want to know what's going on.
Yeah. It's what I signed up for. If you're going to be in public service, you have to be available to the public. And if you're not, then what are you doing?
Were you you're the youngest mayor we've ever had. I bet you are.
Yeah, I'm one of the younger
Nobody
ones.
did the stats on that, but I bet you were.
I'm one of the younger ones, yeah.
Well, that gives you perspective, though.
But again, it goes to one of the reasons I ran initially, is I really want to impress on my generation in Ventura the value of public service and the value of getting involved and the value of sharing. My season of life, I think there's a lot of Venturans, young families, jobs, and we're the ones who truly care about what Ventura is going to be in 20 years, because it's the Ventura that we want our kids coming back to.
I can remember at the club, what was it, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, when you said, I want to run for office, and I'm like, oh, no, you don't. I tried to talk you out of it. But you were determined you were going to do it, and you started watching, listening, meeting, and educating yourself in exactly what that was all about. How's it working?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
When I first got onto council, it was really impressed on me that it's a civil, courteous council. Obviously we're going to disagree on some issues. That's expected.
That's fundamental.
But you agree with respect. You don't attack. You don't name call.
True.
And I think that was one of the things that I really tried to impress on the newly elected council members is, this is what we are as a council.
How are they working out?
Great so far.
Okay.
Great.
You've got more women than men on your city council now,
That's
right?
awesome. It's awesome.
I
love that my daughter comes home and sees 4 women on council with me. Now she gets to look at the council and see that we're a majority women. So I love the example this council setting.
I always thought you were a feminist in the good sense of the word. Also, my husband's a feminist. He likes strong women. And obviously, you are married to a strong Italian woman from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Big Italian family.
Big Italian family. Imported her to Ventura when we got married. And,
she's fabulous. You picked so well. You really did. You got married later in life, too, right?
I was in my mid-30s.
That's late for a guy.
Yeah.
No?
I was waiting for the right one.
Well, oh boy, you're going to get points at home on this one.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Did you hear that, Alicia? And you've got 2 daughters.
2 daughters, 2 amazing daughters. I'm truly blessed. I really am. I get to come home. My wife's incredible. She's really patient with me. The one thing about being on council and being mayor is the demands on your time.
Oh, you're never home, right?
I try my best to work my schedule to be home for dinner. I walk my daughter to school in the morning. So there's certain things I keep a schedule with. But my wife is very patient with me and very supportive.
And you've got a real job.
I do.
Yeah. Did you graduate Pepperdine Law?
Pepperdine Law.
Okay.
I've been practicing.
So you're a smart kid. man.
Yeah, I try my best. But I have a law firm downtown. I have a partner, LaVere Huff. We're right above Anacapa Brewing Company downtown. My law partner is equally understanding of my schedule and equally supportive of me.
Your
So
life is charmed.
I am very blessed. I really
You
am.
really are. I've known you for a while, and I get to watch you. And then, when I'm not there on a Monday night when I do public comment, I don't really go there negative. But if it's an issue that I fundamentally believe in, like maybe planning or something well, you'll see me there. Yeah. Or I'm there promoting the Ventura Council for Seniors, which is my love, and you gratefully and graciously allow me to run the Ventura Council for Seniors, which I think is really important, considering 30% of our town are seniors. I mean, that's a huge number. Yeah. So I think we have a vibrant community, and I think you add a lot to it. Let's talk about some of the issues that you're facing currently there. We have a new city manager, correct?
We do, as of 3 months ago.
And his name?
Alex McIntyre.
And he came from?
Menlo Park.
Menlo Park.
Home of Facebook, Bear, Silicon Valley. And that was really exciting to us on council. He's from Menlo Park, Silicon Valley. That's really kind of the face of the 21st century economy. And Ventura is trying to replicate that in terms of preparing for the future economy. And so he really brought that experience from Silicon Valley, and we're hoping we can really kind of recreate that in Ventura as well.
So are we going through a quantum change like in the city of Ventura? I mean, it's always been old school because it's an old town, right? Yeah. But now I'm watching younger and younger millennials and people getting involved into politics, businesses, they're opening up, brew pubs. Which not necessarily I'm in favor of all of them, but most of them are okay. They're good operators.
They are. We have a good collection of breweries in town. There's a lot of new business in town. It's great. Things are really moving in the right direction. I
think there's a lot of changes, and you're going through them. You're going through the growth period, which is probably the best or most exciting time for you to actually get to be a part of this as it changes.
Yeah, I love it. We have a new city manager, and with new leadership comes somebody who they want to build their own team. And there's growing pains, obviously, involved anytime.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to go through the growing pains. But Alex is great. He's going to build a great team. I think we have a strong council. Everything's falling into place for Ventura to really start exploding into the future. And I'm entirely optimistic about where we're going. And I wouldn't just say that because
I know
I'm
you wouldn't,
mayor.
because
I'm
I can see the changes. I mean, they're slow, they're evolutionary, but they're changing. And I think the city is actually now headed in the right direction. I'm not a huge fan of big, massive developments. I mean, because I don't think our traffic is really in place. But I've been working with Jeff Herford, your new traffic engineer, who's fabulous. He's so responsive. I get responses. Yeah. The old one, never got a response.
No, Jeff's great.
Yeah, he's fabulous. He's got new ideas.
We have so many good employees at City Hall. We
you
really do.
Truly do.
Jeff's one of them.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the department heads there, and they work their butts off, which is always good to see from a public viewpoint, and about how, like I said, they're responsive. I think transparency is a big thing for the city of Ventura because you do get beaten up. I mean, you make one false move and then everybody's on board with that, because I think people today, especially national politics, look at national politics. I mean, we're so much better off on a local level than that craziness that's going on in D.C.
It's insane.
I mean, I'm encouraged by Gavin Newsom. I mean, today, he gave his State of the State today, which was great, in working with Hannah-Beth Jackson and the rest of our locally elected people, which are all women. Yeah. I mean, is this the year of the woman or what?
I mean, not only are they women, but they're incredibly effective advocates for representing us. Julia, Jackie, Monique, Hannah-Beth.
Yeah, I think they're smart.
They're strong.
And they're strong
really
women.
Effective leaders.
And very bright, which leads me to think, gee, we always were, but maybe never recognized. But they're getting things done because everything is changing.
I can tell you firsthand, after the Thomas fire, and the city was reeling, and we were so reliant on state and federal resources to recover. And Julia, Hannah-Beth, Monique, I mean, they jumped right in and were just the greatest partners, constant communication. And without their help getting those state and federal resources in immediately,
that was big.
I mean, they were, and I hope the public understands how
I
important
think
that
this
was.
is, well, this is an opportunity for you to share that with the public too, about how much they jumped in and how effective they really were in helping the city. I mean, it's an old city. Infrastructure's dying here. I mean, so we constantly have to do maintenance, do we not?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we have really, again, we've got great maintenance people. We've got people that are thinking, department heads. I am encouraged for the first time in a long time.
And a good example, a good story is, my sister was living in Indiana. She played basketball at the University of Notre Dame.
Right.
My sister,
Courtney.
Courtney LaVere, now Courtney Hobson. And she married a boy from the Midwest, from northern Indiana. And she had a baby son, and my parents moved out there to be with my sister, and they, were kind of creating their life in the Midwest.
Right.
And the fire happened, and I think my mom and my sister both had a sentimental longing to come home. And I think the Thomas fire, as devastating as it was, it really engaged this community. And I've seen just the optimism, the encouragement, the pride. It's really brought out, I think, a lot of emotions out in many of us. Helping.
And positive.
Great, absolutely positive. As it was devastating. 540 homes lost. I mean, we had every reason to just go down into the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
And we picked ourselves up. We got back to work. We helped each other.
And that's the strength of Ventura. Yeah. When I moved here in 1980, that was not the story. Everybody was out there doing their own thing, and also the infrastructure, like it is an old town, and it's got old infrastructure. We have clay pipes in some areas that are breaking down because they're old. But then again, by Measure O monies that are helping us with the infrastructure and rebuilding, you see small stuff going on. I mean, you see, right now I'm looking at, what is it? Is it Telephone Road? It might be Telephone Road. No, Telephone Road, and where they're actually repairing. And I mean, and the people that you hire as contractors, I'm impressed with. Yeah. I stop and I thank them. Like you, I feel like I own this town. I mean, we own this town. If you live here and you really take pride in your town, you want to do more. And there's an opportunity. Where I cut my teeth was like on a commission, and you still have commissions.
That's where I cut my teeth.
Exactly. You were in Parks.
Parks.
And I was on Parks for 17 years, and you were in Parks.
Did I replace you when you went off?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so that was big shoes to fill.
No, they weren't. They're about size 8. But it was actually, Parks was like in line. So it's City Council, then Planning Commission, then...
Planning Commission and DRC have pretty important functions.
And they are meeting a lot together lately.
But I think every commission serves a really important purpose.
Well, I think some of them, probably need to engage more. But I think the bigger ones really, and these are volunteers. Yeah. Nobody on a commission gets paid.
None.
I mean, it's none. So it's sacrifice.
It's a huge time commitment.
Well, look at the sacrifice you're making. How many hours a week are you planning or not planning? How many hours a week do you devote to being mayor, city council?
It's between 30 and 35.
That's a job.
It is a job.
And your big paycheck is what?
$700 a month.
Wow, really? That pays not even for my bar bill. I mean, sorry. But it's real. You have to do it because you believe in the system. Yeah. You believe in the community.
You believe in the town.
You do.
You
chose to live here with your kids.
This is my hometown.
I'm
totally invested in this community. I'm totally invested in making sure it remains a vibrant community for my girls and their kids.
Someday, I want to see you ascend to another level of government. I mean, really, because you are like the perfect candidate. I'm not going to ask you to do it, but I'm just going to say it. I'm on the sidelines, and I'd like to see you because you have now knowledge. You know how process works. And that, I think, is the perfect training ground for one of the commissions. And we have openings all the time.
All the time.
And process is where you learn how the city works. And that is the best way of anybody that runs for any kind of a public office in our town here in Ventura to actually learn how it works. Just don't sit there and complain. Get involved in a commission and actually find out how the process works.
Yeah, people always ask me how they can get involved.
Yeah.
And I say a perfect start is go online, see what openings we have on our various commissions and boards, and apply.
Correct.
I mean, you'll volunteer your time, you'll contribute to the city,
Oh, it's so much worth it.
and you'll get a lot out of it.
You will get more out of it than you put into it.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to think what else. I was trying to remember everything I wanted to ask you. Keep Fire Station, Fire Station 4, is that permanently open now?
Yes.
Oh, thank you,
Yes.
you. Because that was part of it,
It was
right?
our residents on the East End when they had to close for a couple of years when the economy tanked in '08.
Yeah.
And the response times to the East End really suffered, and we made a commitment with Measure O that we were going to make Station 4
Thank
permanently
you.
funded.
For my seniors, thank you.
And there's a lot of seniors in the East End of Ventura.
Well, that's where the majority of them live.
Yeah, and,
Someday I want to see a senior site, a city, maybe like a senior center on the East End. And I'm kind of working with the Salvation Army to see if we can use that, what we used to have on Pettit, which I want to reopen that again. I mean, so the city would pay a couple of bucks for rent, but we'd have another site that we could utilize as a senior center because of the need is so great.
Absolutely.
But you're spending your money wisely. And I'm sure you have a lot to do with that because you put so much time into this. I mean, the learning curve is huge, right?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
But
You learn as you go. We have a great staff.
Yes, you do.
I was fortunate enough when I got elected to have a very experienced council who worked with me and helped my education.
Well, that's
And,
what it takes.
we got Measure O passed, and we made
That was big.
huge. We made a certain promise to the public in doing so. That we weren't going to waste the money. We were going to put it towards core services, roads, public safety, fire, police, dealing with our homeless situation.
That's another thing. We don't have a shelter, do we?
Not right now. Well, I take that back. We just, in partnership with the county in Oxnard, we just opened up a pilot 24-hour shelter in Oxnard near the airport, which is going to be a temporary solution because we are actively working to open up our own 24/7 emergency shelter in Ventura. Hopefully,
That would be great because we have open spaces to go into.
we have the location identified. We have an operator identified. We just brought on a really important function, a safe and clean coordinator.
Do we have partnerships? Do you work well, I guess you would have to, with maybe like the county and the school district here? You work in partnership and collaboration
Absolutely.
to get things done?
So we have an incredible school district. I mean, my daughter's in Ventura Unified Public School. We have a really strong board of trustees. The chair, Sabrina Rodriguez.
She kicks butt.
I mean, gosh, she's probably one of the few people. I have so much respect
I
for Sabrina.
love her. She's fabulous. She does a great
I
job.
sleep well at night knowing that she's
Yeah.
kind of helping to lead my
Correct.
daughter's school district. And I guess they just hired a new superintendent.
Roger Rice
who I
from the
just
county.
met, and I was very,
Yeah.
very impressed with
He's
him.
very impressive.
And so the school district's, on a great trajectory. We have a great partnership with the county right now. They're our 50-50 partner in this homeless shelter. And so, without partnerships, very little can be achieved.
I want to thank the council publicly and you for actually giving us money to create a senior strategic plan, which is going to be our roadmap. And we're working with staff. I've got a great staff that I work with. We just had a meeting this morning, and this staff is actually guiding us through hiring a consultant to come in and give us the guidance that we need to put one together. I looked at other communities, and they have senior strategic plans, but we've never really had one. So we don't really know where to begin outside of what we know what we want and what we need, but we're not real sure what we can afford. So this is going to be a crucial step for the city to grow, and thankfully you've got oversight into that, so you'll be able to guide us as well.
As you know, my colleague, Councilmember Heitman, has been really driving this for several years, and I know the two of you have been working very, very
We
closely.
will never give up until we get it.
And we got some very important grant funding, and we're going to get that strategic plan in place. I have no doubt.
Thank you.
She was because of her hard work, and
Yeah.
we got the funding. We're going to get that plan done, and I had 4 grandparents in Ventura for many years, so I knew what they wanted, and
Yeah,
so
of course, because you were very close to them.
yeah, I was visiting. I was with them all the time, and
I know. I used to watch you come and visit them when I was
Yeah.
teaching my classes, and you were always there, as well as your mom. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a joy to see a family that united. We live in a strange time now. There's a lot of fractures with a lot of families, with divorce and separations. But your family has always been so tight. I don't know what, and that I admire that and I watch that because you're doing that with your extended family, meaning Alicia's family on the East Coast, but you're doing it with your kids.
Yeah, we both come from very strong family units.
Uh,
I think that's
It's huge.
It's such a gift. It really is. I don't take that for granted.
You can't.
How lucky I was.
You picked right.
I picked right, yeah.
What can I say? You picked right. Good choice
My
by
mom and-
watching your parents.
My mom and dad are incredible. They set perfect examples.
Oh, your folks are amazing.
They are. Now, now I'm raising my daughters, and I look back on the kind of lessons learned from my parents. And
Yeah.
I don't think you truly appreciate your parents until you have kids of your
No,
own.
that's exactly it.
And,
That's very, very true. I mean, when you have teenagers and you're going to have teenage girls, it's a whole new set of things.
I always joke. When I was growing up, I was a rebellious teen, and I had a list of everything I was going to do differently.
Oh yeah, we all did
that I thought my parents were screwing up.
Oh yeah, that's
And
true.
now I look
We
back
knew more.
and I go through that checklist and I'm like, no, that was right. Yeah, they did that right. Yeah, they were right there. They were usually right.
Have you ever told him that?
I gave the commencement address at my alma mater at Villanova High School in Ohio last year.
Oh, that is
and
so
part of my
cool.
speech was, my parents were there, and part of my speech was recognizing how right they were.
That's amazing. I did something recently with my daughter who's 51 years old. Can't believe she's got gray hair. Anyway, my daughter, I called her up and I said, hi, hon, I've got something to talk to you about. She goes, you're dying, right? And I go, no. And she goes, you must, what are you calling me for? And I said, well, I'm not dying and you don't have to clean out the garage yet, but I want to apologize. I don't think I was seriously there 1,000% emotionally when you were a teenager, because I was wrapped up in doing things. I was busy working, or I was doing things. And I think maybe I shortchanged you and your brother, and she didn't say anything. And so we said, goodbye, I love you, hang up. She called me a couple days later and she goes, I need to apologize to you. And I go, what for? And she goes, I was a crappy kid. And I go, maybe it does go a full circle. And maybe just I'm looking back as an older person, looking back and thinking to myself, maybe I better start mending some fences. And maybe I should start mending some fences, starting with my family, who is always going to love me no matter what, but also mending fences in the community of people that I offended. Because you know me, I'm just going to say what I feel like, and hell be damned. I don't care, I'll just say it. I don't know if that's a gift or a curse, but I think sometimes it works when you're just honest.
I think it's a rarity. I think very few people will be blunt and honest with people these days, and you're one of that few. And even if you and I don't agree on everything.
No, we never will, because
But I
we're
respect
individuals.
the fact that you always tell me the truth. And if I do something stupid, you'll
I'm
tell
gonna
me.
kick your butt, yeah.
And if you do something I disagree with, I'll tell
And
you.
you can kick my butt as well.
And it's not personal.
No, it's
I'll
not.
still give you a kiss at the end of the conversation.
The same thing.
And
it's the same thing when you disagree, like in my classes. I tell, we talk a lot of politics in my classes. So it's either, and it's divided because we have, we've got the conservatives and we've got the liberals. Okay, fine. But you can agree to disagree and don't make it personal. At the end of the day, you're still friends. Yeah. Why can't we do that? We can do it locally in town. We can do it on council. You do it on council with people that have, and council is not partisan. No. But this country is partisan.
I love this story. I told it when Mike Tracy, he recently retired from council in November, and in kind of my final kind of closing comments to Mike, I told the story. There was one hearing when I was a fairly new council member, and it was a very contentious hearing, and Mike and Christy, or my colleague Christy Weir, were really butting heads on an issue, and it was some back and forth, and it was getting pretty heated. And I, as a new council member, I was kind of sitting back going, ooh.
Whoa, I'm not getting in there.
I want to stay out of this one. And that item ended. We took a vote. It was over. And at the end of the meeting, I was like, oh, how's this going to be?
Yeah.
You know what they did? They hugged. They got up and they hugged.
That's adult. Yeah. And that is what I would love to see in politics today. It's become so contentious. It's almost like you're afraid to voice your opinion about other things, but your council does that. The city, even when the city makes a mistake, I've seen them in the past gloss over it and just kind of move on and don't do anything to rectify whatever issue it is. I want you to, and I'm going to ask you to keep on going forward, to be open and honest with the community like you are personally, because I know you personally, and that's your personality. But I think you can really, as the mayor, guide us to another level in prosperity. I want to see prosperity come back to the city of Ventura in the way of jobs, in the way of green initiatives, things that really, you've got the opportunity to do something that no other council has. You've got it. You've got all the right goods.
And economic development, which you just referenced,
Yes.
has to be at the top of our priority
that's
list.
a big shopping list.
Have you met Estelle Busa?
No, but she's a local kid,
she's
right?
a born and raised local kid, played basketball at Ventura High, Ventura College.
Really?
Her and my sister had the Buena-Ventura rivalry in high school.
so cool.
And she is just an all-star. We took her from Patagonia. She's our new economic development manager.
Good.
And she is so good.
Because that department's always kind of limped along.
It has. We're moving it to the city manager's office to give it that authority. And,
Nice.
And she is working so hard,
Good.
both to support the business we have in town, help
Right.
them grow, help them hire, help them, foster growth within the city. And then, at the same time, recruiting new business.
I'm impressed.
We got so many good things happening in Ventura. Fresh Realm is a local company that started in Ventura. Fresh Realm.
What do they do?
It's a food startup. It's they have some technology where they provide ingredients to like those big companies like Blue Apron and some of
Oh,
these.
yeah.
They do a lot of the technology that provide ingredients for these prepackaged meals.
Now you're talking my language.
And
It's
they
food.
went from 40. They doubled their employees in the past couple of years. They're going to probably double again.
Are they IPO?
They have
They're
13,000.
selling
They
stock?
have 13,000 square feet in downtown Ventura. They're blowing up.
Where are they?
They're in the livery where I used to work.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And-
I bought Trade Desk. It's up again today.
Trade Desk is.
I'm making money.
I mean, we're working very closely with Trade Desk to keep.
And that was a startup.
They started in our incubator behind City Hall with 2 employees, and now they have 1,200 employees across the globe, 300 in Ventura. A company just came downtown they moved from Simi Valley. 25 people transferred over. 9 have already bought houses in Ventura, put their kids in school. I mean, we're making some really important strides.
Would you come back and give us check-ins?
I'd love to.
I would love it because every time I talk to you, I learn something new about the town I've lived in since 1980, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey.
Love you, Suze.
I love you too, Maddie.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. This was just a blast. I mean, I love hanging out with Matt, but I'm so grateful that he has decided to serve. $600 or $700 a month. What do you get, right? We got a winner. We got more than what we bargained for, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for doing this. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Oh, what a treat. Yeah.